What is good, everybody? What's going on? Hope you're all doing well. Who do we have here? Spinning man, this Aiden, Jonathan, Stephen B, Jonathan Quinn. What's good? So I wanted to pick your brains. Okay, there's a lot of reinforcements coming with the Yankees who are 13 games over 500. So it really doesn't really show that they need a lot of reinforcements. But with that said, with the guys that are being hurt, there are some guys that are scheduled to come back. And that includes major leaguers and kids, prospects. So major leaguers, you got DJ LeMahieu, you've got Tommy Canley, Scott Efros, and set back a little bit was Lou Trevino. Still be coming back a little after them. Then you got Garrett Cole too, and then on the flip side of kids, you've got Oswald Peraza, who's working his way back into rehab. We've got DJ LeMahieu, who's just about to start a rehab too. So we've got some folks here. Alex, what's good? Well, and here's the other thing too. And Beater and Warren are, I've said this a lot. Will Warren, there's a deadline at some point this month that the Yankees are looking to surpass, which gives them an extra year of control for him. Which I'm not sorry, an extra year of service time for Will Warren. So I'm not surprised. So Lou, what's good, man? And Clayton Beater, I could see him coming back as a potential add to the bullpen. And this is where I think the reinforcements probably would need to happen. Andrew Dang, what is happening, my friend? Again, we have our overall collective bullpen ERA is about 2.20, which is amongst the best in the majors. So, and bullpen's been as good as advertised. We had a couple of blips here and there. Dennis Santana, game here and there. Caleb Ferguson got rough for a while, and then he got good, and then he got rough again. I think he's been used a little bit more than he probably should be. But he's also probably a lower leverage situation type guy, but he's also out of options. So of anybody, and we were talking about this last time in the live stream, if any guys in the bullpen are expendable or replaceable, probably it would be maybe Cal Ferguson and somebody like Mike Tonkin. So 4 guys like E. Frost and Tommy Kane. Tommy Canley is probably the most immediate guy that's coming back in the near future. Aiden, what's happening, man? And it's not that far behind him would be Scott Efros and then JT Brubaker, who the Yankees acquired in a trade. And this is where things get a little iffy, right? A little tough in terms of roster decision making. So I don't envy the situation that they're going to be in, having to make some tough cuts or trades or options or whatever. But I do envy the depth that they have, putting them in this position. Okay. And this has been a while since we've had this type of depth. It's been a while since we've had, our backups being significantly started than the backups that we've had over the years, which would be in some cases, more often than not, a credible replacement to the starters that we need to sit on occasion and we need to give a rest on occasion. So I feel much better about this team now than I had before. And I hope that you do too. So let me know in the comments what you have. And again, and this is why I proposed recently, people like Nestor Cortez, there are options for him, right? He's got 2 options left. So in my personal opinion, instead of, DFAing him or something like that, which I don't think is an ideal situation. He's a veteran. He's paid his dues here. But his road and away stats, his home and away stats are significantly different. And he's shown a high level of inconsistency. When Garrett Cole comes back, somebody's going to have to likely be the fall guy, expendable piece in the rotation. And I don't think it's going to be Rodon the way he's pitching. I don't think it's going to be Stroman either. I don't think it's going to be Schmidt, or even Luis Hill, the way these guys are all pitching. So Nestor Cortez, unfortunately, is probably going to be the guy. And I don't know if he would be willing, and if they would be willing to move into long relief, where I think he'd be well suited or better suited. But maybe they can see if they can get a trade for him, right, and address the piece. We don't really know what the pieces are that the Yankees need right now. We don't know exactly, but what they need right now might not be what they need in June, which might not be what they need in July. We have no idea yet. Guys staying healthy, guys getting hurt, and so on and so forth. Needs change every month. So, hey Frank, I think if it's going to be in the bullpen, it's going to be Cortez, or if it's going to be a trade, it's probably going to be Cortez. And again, he does have some value. He's got a year left in his of control, and that has some value. And again, there are teams like could they potentially package just a hypothetical? Could they package Nestor Cortez and one of their catchers to the Cardinals, who lost Wilson Contreras to a broken arm, for a versatile player? Got to maybe could play the infield and outfield. I like Oswaldo Cabrera, okay, and I like Oswald Peraza too. I think Peraza should get a shot. Would they even consider moving Gleyber Torres? I don't know. And I think the question remains is, are they going to have more value now trading him or more value at the end of the year? Is there going to be more value at the end of the year? Does he resurrect himself, creating value? I mean, it's a risk that they're taking. They're going to have to take. So, but if they can find some value for him in the second at the deadline, then maybe, just maybe, because I don't think they're going to re-sign him, maybe just maybe they can get some value back for him. And we've got guys like Yorbit Vivas and John Birdie and Oswald Peraza, and DJ LeMahieu who can fill incredibly in the infield spots and also serve as replacements for other starters like Volpe and like Rizzo and so on and so forth. So, you could put DJ at third. You could put Birdie at second and have Oswald Peraza be the roaming infielder. You could do that. Like, there's a lot of options you have here. Really are. But at the end of the day, Peraza's a guy that's going to need to play regularly, as is Jason Dominguez. Unfortunately, there's not a spot right now in the outfield for Jason Dominguez. Now with Verdugo playing the way he's playing, and Judge and Soto, who are you going to sit for him? And there's some people that say we can move Trent Grisham. He's also a Gold Glove fourth outfielder, so they wouldn't move him just for nothing. And again, the fact is, like I said yesterday, just like Yorba Vivas, Jason Dominguez rehab starting in Single A, which is where it should be, not Triple A. He's got to show that he's ready to progress to the next levels again. He's got to make it impossible for them to keep him down there. That's the way it's got to be right now for the roster that we have up in the majors. And the what Verdugo has brought to the team cannot be underestimated. So as excited as I am about Jason Dominguez, unfortunately, there's not a spot for him right now at the major league level this year. Could change next year? Absolutely. But we don't know yet, right? Mike Perez, what's happening, man? I think Dominguez and Jones are also part of the Yankees' future. I mean, there's a couple ways to think about it. Like, could it be Dominguez in the outfield? Could it be Jones at first base to replace Rizzo, right? Or what if worst case scenario they don't bring back Soto or Verdugo, which would be a disaster of epic proportions for a lot of fans. But you do have Jones and Dominguez who could step in and replace both of them. You do have that. I don't know if they're willing to do that. You do have that, but I would be all hands on deck to try to re-sign Juan Soto no matter what. So, and at some point, I would transition Aaron Judge to the DH spot once Giancarlo Stanton moves on. And then at that point, Dominguez and Jones will only be, 25? So we'll be in a good spot. We'll be in a good spot. Look at, and Peraza just homered again. Oswald Peraza hitting another one. Good, Jacob. Good, my man. That's what we need to see. We need to see healthy Oswald Peraza. We need to see healthy productivity with the bat. And he's always killed minor leaguers. Where he struggled is at the major league level. So they need to work on that level. And I think James Rosen's probably well suited to do that. And at the same time, but he needs to play on an everyday basis in order for him to maximize his skill set, in order for him to gain up, catch up to major league pitching timing wise, he's got to play regularly. So if you can't keep him up here, if he's going to ride the pine up in the major league level, I would have him playing regularly in the AAA level until he's ready to come up, until they have a spot for him that he could use regularly. So and we don't know. Like, if Peraza comes up, who are you going to send down? That's the other thing. I can see Jahmai Jones. I can see, but like, you're not going to send Birdie out. You're not, this is where Everson Pereira might get traded. He might get moved. Yeah. I mean, you could have that, Mike. You could have Dominguez, Jones, and Soto. At some point, you could. Okay. And Soto's best defensive position is in right field anyway. So, which is good. Yeah, me too. Me too, Dan. There's not a situation where I would give up Andrew Jones. I mean, I would give up Spencer Jones for. I wouldn't have traded him for Corbin Burns or Dylan Cease. So, I'm glad they didn't. Okay. Well, this is the thing too. The Crawford experience. Like, this is the thing too. When Cole comes back, something has to happen, right? And again, I do think Cortez will be well suited to being long relief. And then why do I say that? Well, let's just use this as an example. Let's say Clark Schmidt comes in one day, gives up 8 runs in 2 innings, so what just gets bombed, right? And instead of going using 5 or 6 relievers or 7 relievers throughout the game, you bring in somebody like Nestor Cortez or somebody like Luke Weaver or JT Brubaker to come in and throw 4 or 5 innings and really save the bullpen, right? So that's the value of long relief. And a guy like Nestor Cortez, who's been very inconsistent as a starter, um, would I think represent that mold extremely well. That's my personal opinion, though. But I mean, you folks, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Yeah, Alex. No, you're right. We can't all on every prospect. You're right. I mean, they gave away a bunch of them for Juan Soto. You move them for the right trades, and Juan Soto was the only trade I would have moved people for, good people for. So, but like Dominguez and Soto and Jones have been rated higher than any outfield prospect we've had in probably a decade. So, and they're grading through the charts offensively. So, it does make sense to try to make it work for them. I don't think Trent Grisham's going to get DFA, Justin, because he's got a year left of control next year, and he's a Gold Glover. I don't think he gets the. I would be surprised. I think he'd be traded before he gets DFA'd. Honestly, that's my guess right now. So, and if Verdugo plays extremely well, makes it harder for them to move him, then or to walk away from him, and yeah, I'm fine with Verdugo coming back. I am fine with that. So, well, it's the thing, word lifer, right? Yeah, John Peraza has always been considered trade value. But he ultimately, like, I initially thought Peraza would have been better suited at short with Volpe at second. I still think that's the situation, but Volpe's got a gold glove under his belt now at shortstop. I don't know if they're going to move him over now. I just don't know. and that's going to be a tough situation. It really is. Um, and Augustin Ramirez, I think he's leading with 12 home runs in the minors. First base too. Like, he's another guy, catcher first base. He's like another Ben Rice type player. So he's another guy we have as an option too. Which is, it's good to have these multi-positional player options here that we haven't had in a long time. So it gives the Yankees a lot of versatility, a lot of options. It really does. Now, Trent could be a trade deadline move, Austin. He's got to play. I think they need to play him more and give him a little bit more opportunity to continue to improve and continue to progress. So, but I do think they need to play him a little bit more. No, they're not going to trade Soto at the deadline, Joe. I understand what you're saying. I appreciate it. There's no way in the world they're going to trade Soto at the deadline, especially if they're going to try to get World Series this year. It doesn't make any sense to move them at the deadline. There's no. What would we get that's going to be more valuable than Juan Soto? That's the other question. And TJ, yeah, I mean JT Rumfeld, yeah, another guy breaking out. I think he's the third base, first base. Has another guy that could be, an option there too. So you've got Rumfeld, you've got Ramirez. Like, we have options. We got plenty of Ben Rice. Got plenty of options. How many years? I think this year or next, Austin. To be honest with you, they have a team option on Rizzo next year. But if they feel like Rumfield or Spencer Jones or Augustin Ramirez would be a better fit, they won't exercise that option. But then there's no taking anything away from Rizzo. He's a pro. He's a veteran. He's a great teammate. He's a leader. So he's valuable, very valuable to this team. So, by the way, let's smash that like button, gang. Let's try to get the likes up if we can. Always try to get them over 100 if we can possibly do that. It's always appreciated. But that's, fat guy. I hope so. I think a lot of us fans hope that Soto's a Yankee for life. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, I mean, Jones rates higher than Dominguez on offense and what do you call it, defense. But there's a reason why also that they consider Dominguez to be a number one prospect. He's been in the system for 5 years. This is only Jones' second year in the system. So, and he's already been had a cup of coffee at the majors, Dominguez, and he played well. So, but at the end of the day, I would love to have both of them. If you can figure out a way to get both of them on this team, it's gonna be it would be such a good team. And if you can keep Soto and have Judge here, the rest oh my goodness. Oh, oh God. Yeah. Mhm. Jones is a better power hitter than Dominguez. That everybody knows. There's no questioning that. Yeah. This is a good question, Nick Hector. I don't know what happened to Oswaldo when DJ comes back. Peraza. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. Let's see. Do they move on from Jemai Jones? They move on from I'm not sure what they're gonna do. I'm not sure. But that's it. This is a very important question you ask, Hector. Very important question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chance I think it's slim to none, Justin, that they're gonna trade Mason Miller. I mean it's slim to none. Yeah. I don't see the point. I mean, they're gonna be moving to Vegas in a year or two. They need to have players like that to bring over there so they can fill the stands. Yeah, but I do think his eye, and I said this, and I was just, listening to Tats and the Boys from Pinstripe Chronicles podcast this morning. I think his arm is a potential ticking time bomb. The way he throws, as hard as he throws, is I think he's a potential Tommy John just in the wings. And he missed 3 months last year with a shoulder problem, so he has had injuries in his past. I worry about that. And honestly, I have no problem with Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes is doing just fine here. You know, um, well, exactly too. I would agree too. I don't think they would have made the Soda trade unless they were committed to bringing him back long term. I couldn't agree more. I think you're absolutely right. You know, how many of our kids are paying out there? If I had to choose, I'm going to say probably Dominguez, probably Jones, probably Will Warren, maybe Clayton Beater or Chase Hampton. A couple of these guys, or two prospects. They have a lot of prospects, so I would say a handful or two. Right. But you never know how many kids are going to pan out. You just never know. Hmm. Yeah, well, exactly, Justin. And Oakland would get an absolute ransom for Mason Miller. If anybody can trade for him, it's probably the Baltimore Orioles. And honestly, I could care less, especially if his arm is a ticking time bomb. If he's going to get a TJ, I'd rather he get it with the Orioles than with the Yankees. That's just the way I look at it. Hmm. Yeah. No, I agree too. Yeah. Yeah. So Dave was asking, do we think he makes any? Yeah, I do. I don't know how substantial they're going to be, and it's we still don't know what their top needs are. We have an idea based on what we've seen them do so far, but it could be a versatile bench piece with speed. It could be a relief pitcher. Could be a back end starter. I don't know. I mean, that's the question, right? Right now. But again, we're in middle of May. The deadline is at the end of July. At the end of July. A lot of stuff can happen in the next 2.5 months. Yeah, exactly. Exactly where life. I mean, the price would be. I mean, a starting price would probably have to be either Dominguez or Spencer Jones, or most likely Henry Lane or Roderick Arias. So one of those guys. Do you want to give up that for a closer? I don't know. Especially when you already have a world class closer in Clay Holmes. Yes, Clay Holmes going into free agency. I get that. But at the same time, he is pitching as well as we've ever seen him pitch. Hmm. Yeah, dang. I mean, hmm I don't know. Dang, that's a good question. I got the Seagley with Torres, but would it help us Mango predictions? We keeping Dominguez and Jerome Jones. Well, right now, honestly, Torres doesn't have a choice. He's gonna get moved. He's gotta get moved. He can't veto anything. Like, once you're in arbitration, you can't veto anything. So, but it sounds like he's been pining to get a contract extension here, but I don't know if they're gonna do that right now. He's hasn't really um rebounded yet from the beginning of the season. So, and I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, I think Beater Warren. I think it's going to be Beater first, and then Warren. Yep. Yeah, a desperate team will give up that much for Mason Miller. That's for sure. Desperate team would, and they're gonna just look and look and look and see which teams are desperate. Which team feels like they're either gonna fall out of the postseason or whether they feel like they're a game away from the postseason. Those types of teams they're probably gonna prey on. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Hmm. Yeah, he's been getting hit, and then he was good, and he's getting hit. So like going through these, these transitional um, changes in AAA is an important part of the process. It's going to help him get even more fine tuned and even more ready for the majors. So I hope he turns it around soon. Really do. Clayton Beater's been on the money too. Hmm. Yankees inside bolster the bullpen. Yeah, I mean, they could get a bullpen piece and a back end starter. I mean, that would be a pretty decent deadline, especially if Cole comes back healthy. Especially if like guys like Peraza and DJ come back healthy, then that's probably all they're going to need in the bullpen or just on the roster to begin with. So I'm hoping so. Yeah. Good morning, Jay Boss. What's good, my man? What is good? Yep. Clay Holmes has been. Hmm. Down here. I don't know, Davey. It's a good question. Baltimore's got to stay healthy. They're also getting guys back. They're getting John Means back and a couple other guys, and Jackson Holiday's still working on his things mechanically before he gets called back up. So, um, but I right now, I think it's a two-team race between the Yankees and the Orioles. Just like I think in the National League, it's probably between the Phillies and the Dodgers. And I'm not sleeping on the Texas Rangers because they're getting reinforcements back too. So, and they won the World Series last year. So it's going to be a pretty interesting. But again, we're in May. It could be completely different in June and July. So you're gonna have to wait and see. But the Baltimore Orioles have shown enough to prove that they could be competitive and go and run for at the very least go for a division title at the very least. So, but we'll see. And Danny, we don't know yet. I mean, honestly, there's no room for him on the major league roster. So I would keep him down in the minors and let him play regularly while he can continue to get healthy and improve. That's what I would do with Dominguez. I think it's a smart. It's probably the responsible thing for him. They want to just like Garrett Cole, right? They want to baby him back. They want to be able to stretch him out. They weren't able to stretch him out early. They want to, take good care of their prized asset, right? Well, they want to handle Jason Dominguez with care too, and it's a smart thing to do, especially such a highly touted prospect. No doubt about it. Yeah. Hmm. Well, exactly, Justin. I don't know. I mean, the Orioles, maybe. Could be the Padres who want to replace Josh Hader. Could be Texas Rangers. I don't know. I don't know. Going to be interesting to see. That's for darn sure. Hmm. Yeah. Yes, indeed. It's too early. Dang is saying. Surprised the American League isn't competitive. Well, the competitive balance is kind of changing with the teams. There are more teams getting better. Like the Orioles are getting better, and the Mariners are getting better, and like teams like the Tigers and some of these other teams are quietly getting better. So that's kind of how it's going to be, I think, for a little while. I can't see the. I mean, the Red Sox might stink for a year or two. The Blue Jays might stink. I think they're going to be losing Vlad and Bo Bichette after next year. So they're probably going to try to move at least one of those guys. And the Rays, they can just keep losing people and keep being competitive year after year. So I don't worry about them. We'll see. We'll see. Say the same thing for Spencer Jones. So, I hope they both become superstars. Honestly, Jose, I really do. I hope they become both of them become superstars. hmm Not really. He's been pretty decent this year, Austin. He's got 9 homers, tied for with the same for Soto, and Judge has 10. So it hasn't been as bad as people think. And he's been healthy this year, which is a net plus for the Yankees. We need him to be healthy because even if he misses games, he still hits 25, 30, 35 home runs every year, no matter what. He can miss 50 games and he'll still put up 30. And that's a rare talent to have around the game. It really is. Time you hear, Bo. Yeah, Bar life, right? Only one Stanton will hit. Yeah, I think it's Stanton can hit pretty well this year. If he's healthy, I think he'll hit pretty well. Um, I would not be surprised at all. 30, 35, 40 home runs. Not at all. No. That's a good question, Danny. I don't know. My guess is, well, let me um I think Nestor Cortez should probably get bumped once Cole comes back. It's compared to the other pitchers, his stuff is more hittable. It's slower, it takes a longer time to kind of tail over the plate and kind of drag. And I think he's probably going to be the one that's going to be the fall guy. To what degree, I don't know. Whether it's a trade, whether it's a optioning out because he has 2 options left, or put in the bullpen for long relief. I'm not sure which one's going to hurt his ego and pride less. Is probably going to be the trade because he'll be going to somewhere where they want him to be there. So it's going to be really interesting to see, Danny. Really interesting to see. Murderers Row, no doubt, dude. Yeah, I figured I'd go live. I got some stuff coming up in a little bit, but I wanted to go live and talk about this topic because this stuff is kind of coming right around the corner, right? The kids coming with the veterans coming, and like, how in the world are the Yankees going to make all these roster moves? How can they make them all fit? Or what do they do if they can't make them all fit, right? And I think it's an important discussion to have. I really do. Um, yeah, man, I'll definitely keep you updated. Murder Show, no doubt, dude. Stanton's on pace for 36 jacks. See, I mean, if we got 30, 35 out of Stanton, I'd be pretty happy. I would be pretty darn happy. No. Hmm. I'm not sure, Jonathan, yet. If I'm going to go live after the game, I'm not sure yet. I'll try to, but I'm not sure. No. Verdugo is a free agent nosebleed after this year. Yes, he is. Mm. Mm. Well, exactly, nosebleed. I mean, they gave Spencer Jones a first base glove, but I don't know how many reps he's getting. Doesn't sound like a lot. So, not really sure what they're going to do there because he does have elite speed. He's faster than Dominguez. He's faster than most of the guys around the Yankees. So, um, and he's also 6'7". He's huge. So when you have somebody that big who can run that fast or can be that athletic, you have something special on your hands, and I think the Yankees do. So I think it's important for us to figure out how in the world they're going to utilize him. Yeah, yeah, Weaver, man, Luke Weaver, man. Why is he away, Slew, at first base? Judge is a great defender. Dominguez is a good defender. Why is he a waste? I mean, what we're most excited about is Glover his bat. He hits 470-foot home runs, 500 feet home runs, and he drives and he hits the ball over the field too. So and he uses his speed when he's on the base paths. Well, that's when I think he'll be more dangerous. I understand people keep saying it's a waste of first base, but you know we have enough in the outfield to withstand the speed that we wouldn't get from him. And I think the quickest way to get him in the lineup and have Jason Dominguez in the lineup at the same time so that neither one's blocking each other is for him to be a first and Dominguez to be in the outfield. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Well, yeah, I don't know. He's good in the outfield, Louis, an elite defender. But again, look who we have in the outfield now. We have an elite defensive outfield now. So, and I think that that's a good thing to keep in mind. Um, Word life, bro. Honestly, I get what you're saying. But the Yankees' plan is to get to the World Series and potentially win it. Doesn't make sense to move Verdugo, but we'll see. We'll see what they do, right? Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't look good at first base now because he doesn't get much. He doesn't get any reps, Lou. No. Nobody's going to look at first base right off the bat. He's going to need reps to get better. But if he's an elite defensive athlete, he will be able to transition well and better. So, and again, it's the easiest way to get him in the lineup with Dominguez at the same time. Otherwise, he would be blocking Dominguez. And I don't know if you want to do that, right? Austin's been hitting the ball hard, Hector. His batting average is not just a small snippet. He's been hitting the ball hard. He's been finding the glove a lot too. So his value goes beyond his batting average. So Hector, I don't think he's going anywhere else than Moss. In all honesty, that's my take on that. Mm, Respectfully disagree, Austin. I think Clark Schmidt has a much higher ceiling than Nestor Cortez for the starting rotation. Which is one reason why I would keep Schmidt and trade or put Cortez in the bullpen for that reason alone. That's what I would, but I understand your take too. Well, exactly, Jose. He did get some time at first base at Vanderbilt. Yep. Just needs to get it back again. Yep. Um, well, exactly, Merger. Guys need time to develop. Yep. There he is. Joey from the shift is in the house. What's up, brother? What is going on, dude? Talking about right now what's going to happen, Joey? Like, give us your take too. Like, with kids coming back, major league players coming back, what type of roster moves can this team make right now? That's not going to disrupt the momentum of this team, right? I mean, it's a good problem to have, but I don't envy the decisions they're going to have to make to do it, which is going to stink, I think, to a degree. And they're not going to want to make some of these decisions, but they have to. Like DJ, we know is going to come back here and he's going to have value in terms of being a multiple, player in the versatile player in the infield option, and somebody who puts the ball in play. Somebody who's a good defender who's is also a top teammate and a leader. So, and that's I'm going to try to Jack be on live after the game. I'm going to try. I will try to go live after the game. Hopefully celebrate a win. I mean, I wanted to go live now to talk about this so we can, at the very least, address this because this is like when DJ comes back. What roster move do you make? I mean, is it going to be Jahmai Jones? Maybe. When if Oswald Peraza comes back, what roster move are we going to make then? They're not going to move Birdie. So, like, what in the heck do you do? And I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do with Oswaldo Cabrera at that point? How are they going to figure that out? Yeah, DJ too. Yeah, shift. Yeah, I did see that Jung Hoo Lee separated his shoulder yesterday. Yeah, the Giants. Yeah, it's a tough injury. That stinks. Yeah, I mean, again, DJ, and he also provides, break for Rizzo and third base too. So his versatility is key. But Oswaldo Cabrera has the same versatility, but he plays infield and outfield, which DJ does not. DJ does not. So those are two guys I could see on the bench. I can see them moving on from Birdie. But then, like, when Tommy Kahnle comes back, who do they move on from? Michael Tonkin. And then when Scotty Frost comes back, who do they move on from? Caleb Ferguson. Like, how do they do it? But I think the biggest question, Frank, yeah, what happens to the rotation when Cole returns? And I do think, and I know, and I've talked to this with Joey about this, and we have a little bit of a different view on it. But, like, I think Nestor Cortez is the best suited to go to long relief. Okay, because Clark Schmidt has a higher ceiling as a starting pitcher, in my opinion. So does Luis Hill. And Nestor Cortez, his home and away splits are very, very different. And while he's good for a few games and he's inconsistent for a few games. So, like, and his stuff tends to be the more hittable than these other guys. So I worry about that to a degree. So, which is why I could see him. Now he's got two options left too, Nestor Cortez. So I could see him going to long relief and giving the Yankees a whole different look with JT Brubaker and Luke Weaver, or I could see him packaged in a trade. As much as a lot of folks, and I would hate to see him be traded too, but, like, what do you do? They're not going to option him, I don't think, or DFA him, right? So it doesn't make any sense. I can't see them moving DJ Murdershaw, but you never know. You never know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they can move Dennis Santana. Dennis Santana's been good, and he's been spotted, and he's been good. So, he clearly has talent, but he's another guy that can maybe be moved when some of these pitchers come back. But I think the biggest decision is going to have to make in the near future is when Garrett Cole comes back. What the heck do they do with the starting rotation? What do they do? Yeah, because he's an upgrade over anybody in the rotation now. It's like, pretty much the best pitcher in the world. So, um, but again, I think they're going to take their time, make sure that he's able to stretch himself out. He had another bullpen outing yesterday, pitched well, felt good. So he's still trending in the right direction. And that's key. Really, really key. And this is what I hope happens. But again, it's a tough one. Like, it's tough dumping Schmidt. It's tough dumping Cortez. It's tough dumping Hill. Like, who do you move on from when Cole comes back? And this is not a discussion. This is not an issue that the Yankees had last year because they did not have enough depth to withstand this type of stuff. And again, they have enough depth now where they have to make these tough decisions. And these are tough conversations for them to have. They really did. Yeah, I didn't either, Joey. I didn't either. I didn't expect the rotation, with the exception of Cortez, who I think is like a 4.02 ERA. Everybody else is under 4 for the ERA. It's been a heck of a performance. And Luis Hill's been, lights out. So, and if you add Cole and Cole becomes Cole again, like, it's a super shot in the arm for the rotation. Super duper shot in the arm. So, and I'm like, it's really perplexing. It really, really is perplexing. Yeah, exactly. Nestor's been off on the road. He's been better at home on the road. Yeah. His home and away stats have been drastically different. But he's lights out at home, you see, and you're right there too. So, like, what do you do? Which is one reason why I want to keep that lights out at home, but move him to long relief and keep him here because, and I'll use Clark Schmidt as an example. Let's say Clark Schmidt comes in and gives up 8 runs and doesn't make it past the second inning. Terrible game. Would you rather use 6 relievers, or would you rather put in a guy like Weaver or Nestor Cortez to give him 5 innings and take him all the way to the 8th? That's the difference between using 3 pitchers in a game and 8 pitchers in a game, right? It saves the bullpen. And again, this is a problem the Yankees had last year. What had not having enough depth because there were a couple times where they had to use 6, 7 pitchers in game one of a doubleheader. And then they had to option guys out in between the games and get guys come back here for the second game. The Yankees are in a position where they don't have to do that now. And I think that to me is a much better spot to be in. Much better spot. So, and I'm not worried as much this year. And again, but it's a tough conversation to have. But again, that's why I would rather keep Cortez in long relief, and especially at home, rather than trade him or rather than option him out. So I'm this one's a tough one. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have. So I can only imagine what those folks are thinking. Like, damn, I gotta, like, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. That's a tough one. Yeah. Weaver and Cortez, and yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like Weaver, and you have JT Brubaker coming here too, and you have Nestor Cortez who could be a lefty option long relief. You'd have 3 guys in long relief. With the Yankees, I can't remember the last time the Yankees have had that much long relief depth. And again, serves as a big time security blanket for the rotation and a big time security blanket for the bullpen for the short inning guys. Save the arms of the Clay Holmes of the world, save the arms of the Ian Hamiltons of the world, and so on. So, which I think is going to be, they're going to need to do that come summer months and post summer months. So I'm hoping that this happens. So, yeah, Joey, I like. It's a really hard conversation to have, man. You should come on and come on and you and I will, we'll round robin this, man, and we'll brainstorm this and on a live and for everybody to chime in. Love to get your feedback on everything. Like we talk about, we could break down the Yankees on how in the heck they're going to do this. And the next like month or two, it's going to be painstaking decisions, really painstaking decisions. I'm like, my gosh, yeah, which is crazy. It's crazy. Demon D's here. What's good, Demon? Yeah, I mean, hit them likes, gang. I would try to get to 100 likes if we can. Hit those like buttons if you don't mind. We always try to get over 100. It's going live during the day, so there's not many people as we get at night most of the times. But that's always greatly appreciated when you hit the like button. And again, Joey's right too. Nexter's lights out at home. He's off on the road, so that's a dynamic that the Yankees have to live with, and if they're going to keep him here. I realize they got to continue to work on him, so maybe he'll pitch a little bit better when he's on the road. So it will improve around the margins and anywhere they can. Yeah, yeah. Clark is, yeah, yeah. It's sixth inning one. Yeah, I think it's the last game, right? He's only gotten through the sixth once this year. He's gotten into the sixth a few times, but he's kept them in the game pretty much every game as well, which I do like. I feel better about his upside than everybody else. And again, like Clark, Hill, Cole, even Rodon, they're in a similar boat. These guys throw hard, right? So, and when they throw their off-speed stuff, it can throw a lot of hitters off rhythm because there's such a differential between the high-end, high 90s, 100-mile-an-hour fastball than the off-speed stuff. Whereas Nestor and guys like Marcus Stroman, they have to rely on location more because they don't throw as hard. So they have to position themselves a little bit differently. Their stuff is more hittable if they're not locating well. So, but this is a tough, because you want to have the dynamic too, I think, between power pitchers and crafty pitchers. And the Yankees do have that. They do have that, but this is Clark, yes, he does have a lot of control, which he does elicit a lot of contact. That is a good point too, Tony. That's a great point. And again, yeah, I mean, it's just people like if people get so angry at Clay Holmes for being pitching to contact, but the guy has a 0 ERA, 0.00 in like 13 saves now. So, you know, it's Mariano Rivera used to pitch to contact and not good contact, just contact. And since Clay Holmes been here, he's not had an ERA over 3 in any season he's been here. Not one. So he's been consistent too. He's really taken his performance to another level. So I'm hoping that he continues to do that. I'm hoping that we surround him with, or and, fortify the bullpen we already have and keep the game. Again, this team is good enough that their offense is always going to keep them in the game, with the exception of a couple of games here and there. They didn't really score much against the Orioles. Maybe they fell asleep that series. I think when they played Orioles again, they're going to be better against the Orioles. So the Yankees needed to kind of get humbled a little bit in that series. And good. I'm glad they did. Now it seems like they've woken up and they're, taking things out on teams again, which is what we need them to do. Yeah, I don't know, Daniel. I mean, the option on Rizzo, Ken pointed out too, like they have a $17 million option, 20. But they've got like guys like TJ Rumfield. Are they going to give Spencer Jones a shot? I'm not sure what they're going to do yet at first base. Because the fact is, Jones is only in Double A right now. I think TJ Rumfield might be. I don't know if he's in Triple A. Let me do a check on this. TJ Rumfield. Let's see. TJ Rumfield, excuse me. He is right now Triple A. Batting 322, 2 homers, 22 ribbies, 2 stolen bases, an OPS of 840. So pretty solid. First baseman, lefty hitting first baseman for the Yankees. He's in the Triple A. So he could be another guy that could replace, even at this point this year, like if for some reason DJ is not right when he comes back and continues to have some injury problems, maybe a guy like TJ Rumfield will be a good one to call up here to give Rizzo a break, because Rizzo will need a break. He's an older player. He needs to have a regular rest period. So, and Oswaldo Cabrera can play first too. I don't know, Zach. They've given him a first base glove. Because if you play him in the outfield and you keep Soto, then where's Dominguez going to play? Right? Which is, it's kind of crazy, especially when Stanton's still hitting. Stanton's still DHing. So if he's still DHing, then Judge is going to be in the outfield. There isn't a spot for Dominguez if Jones is going to play the outfield. So what happens? Right? These are the tough questions like that the Yankees are going to be having to face in the next couple of months, which is a crappy situation, but it's a good problem to have. It's just I don't envy the decisions they have to make. Consiglieri's here too. There he is, baby. Yes. Say that, yeah. All right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, Austin. Which is why I think, balancing them is a good thing. Having a fair balance between these guys and giving them a chance to play every couple of days is a good idea in terms of the bullpen. Yes, indeed. We need our bullpen guys to be as sharp as possible when it counts the most. I don't really care if they've been shut out 5 times into May. That means nothing to me, in all honesty. They're 13 games over 500. That means more to me than them being shut out 5 times. So their bats, and that was, without Judge hitting, without Torres hitting, they're hitting now. Would they be shut out 5 times now? Probably not. Probably not. Well, exactly. Exactly. If it doesn't work out, you got to blame Cashman. You got to blame him and Boone, no matter what. That's right, Consigliere. Got to blame him. That's it. And nosebleed. The problem, I don't think Soto's leaving. And I don't think he's leaving for the Mets. I don't see the point. Why would he go to the Mets? No. So as they say, Martian left, Jones in center, Soto, Judge, right field, DH. Stanton's not leaving. Unfortunately, they're not moving on from him. If he keeps putting up 30 home runs. They're not getting wrong. They're moving on from Stanton. Not at that price. He misses 50 games and he still puts up 25, 30 home runs. Who else can do that? As frustrating as it may be, that is a tough batch of production to replace. Yeah, and Rizzo right now looks safe. I mean, he's healthy, so and he's productive, which is good. Yes, Knicks did more or less. Yeah, I mean, I want to see the Knicks go to make a deep run in the playoffs without any of these super expensive superstar players. I that to me would be icing on the cake, just to show you don't need these. You don't need to build these super teams. Like that's why I don't want LeBron James here in New York next year. I don't want him to play for the Knicks. Well, exactly. He makes too much money to eat. Exactly. They're not going to eat $90 million at Stanton. This is the problem that they have right now, which makes these decisions even harder to make. Right. So, yeah, I think they're going to try Consigliere to lock him up before the season ends. I really didn't think. I know they're working on something. I just don't know to what extent, what degree, and so on. Like, it would be nice for them to just make an agreement. But this guy's represented by Scott Boras, who likes to pull these tricks. So, and he, yeah, he's universally hated by a lot of the owners, just like Rob Manfred is universally hated by a lot of fans. And I can't blame them for feeling that way. Really can't. Yeah. Yes, indeed, Austin. 17 million is more. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, Austin, I think priority number one is extending Soto this year, right? Making sure he comes back after 2024. That's priority number one. So, you know, 30 home runs and 450 at bats means 400. Yeah, we don't. That's the thing. This is non-competitive at bats. I get that, but 30 home runs is 30 home runs. Jones or Dominguez are not ready to put up 30 home runs right now in the majors. And until they are, it doesn't make sense to keep them up. It doesn't make sense to move on from Stanton. And that's the other thing to factor into this equation. You know, well, we've got 100 million coming off the books over the next 4 years. It's not only 100, not 100 coming off the books after this season. It's coming off the books gradually over the next 4 years. But they do have 100 million. They can do that. I mean, like Hicks comes off the books after this year too, which is good. And then you got Stanton coming off. You have Rizzo. Like you have a lot of money. You do have a lot of money coming off, but it's 100 total over like the next 3 or 4 years. I think it's 4. Yeah, I hope so. I really do. I really do. Man, man, fraud. Yeah, Steven. I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, he has to move to teams to build these super teams, and so they tried to do it in the Dodgers, didn't work. I mean, not Dodgers, the Lakers didn't work. No, I don't know. I mean, the most likely scenario, Ken, I'm with you here. The most likely scenario is that Nestor Cortez gets packaged in a trade, and if maybe they add a lefty to the bullpen at the deadline. So, I could definitely see that, Ken. Yes. Well, we don't know, Daniel. We don't know. I mean, if anybody's getting traded from the rotation, he's the most likely candidate, Daniel. Um, when Cole comes back, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. He's got trade value. He's got another year of control. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, Boris is going to look to resurrect himself as an agent this coming season. So no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And he's going to try to. And again, he's got Juan Soto, he's got Pete Alonso, he's got Corbin Burns. All three of those guys are going to be free agents after this year. All three of them. So that's the next big three. And potentially Jordan Montgomery. Well, who fired him now, so never mind him. But Blake Snell, who's also a Boris client, so he could have more guys in the stable too. He could. Yeah. Well, that's just yeah, exactly, Bernard. I mean, I just don't, I don't know. Like, I hope Peraza gets his opportunity, but then what happens with DJ? Right? Do they move Torres? Because if they move Torres, then DJ could be the roving utility. Then they could play Birdie at second and Peraza at third. So I could see that's a much better defensive alignment than the infield. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It's going to be very, very interesting to see these next 2 months. So I just hope it doesn't disrupt any momentum that the Yankees have been building. These guys are 13 games over 500 without a lot of their heavy hitters. That is an awesome place to be. Awesome place to be. One of the best records in the AL and all of baseball. You know, yeah. uh, I pass on Trevor Bauer. It's a hard pass. Now he's playing the Vic Dies. Get out of here, please. Please. Yeah, Snell's having a rougher start, but Monty's had yeah. Because they lost the entire offseason because of Scott Boras. They didn't get a spring, neither one of them. Yankees are on prime. Prime tonight, Jonathan. Okay. Yeah, right. Look, Rizzo has a team option for next year. We'll see if they actually exercise it. So, but with that, I'm going to let you all go again. I just wanted to pick your brains a little bit. I will be back later on with the lineup. I want to thank you all for coming on, giving me. This is a great conversation. Thank you for all your comments, your feedback. I appreciate you. All my whole crew, Joey from the shift coming on too, and a feed from in the house too. My concierge, Texas Spiker, all he is. I appreciate you. You always bring so much to the conversation. You make this channel better. I thank you for it. So I will be back later for the lineup, and hopefully I'll be back later tonight to go live and hopefully celebrate another Yankees win. Have a good day, everybody. Peace and love to you. Go Yankees.